Hey, I hear you want to be a guide, a charter captain. You ready to go in business? Good to hear. It's about time. It's a really good job. You're never going to get rich, but you're going to get a chance to do something you love and enjoy. Not everybody can say that they get to go fishing and get paid for it. Unfortunately, one of the easiest things you do in the guide business is the fish catching. I'm sure you've got plenty of experience doing that. But running a business, staying in business, well, that's another story. I've known plenty of people who could catch fish, but were not successful at running the business. Hey y'all, I'm Captain Donnie D, DOA Fishing Charters, Oregon Inlet, North Carolina. In this video, I'm only out the 6 steps you need to take to get going and keep going in the guide business. You ready? They're as follows. 1. Get the required U.S. Coast Guard license. 2. Obtain a guide's license for the state you live in, if necessary. 3. Obtain the appropriate insurance. 4. Set up the business entity. 5. Buy the gear necessary to run charters. And 6. Drum up business. If that's all you want to listen to, that's okay. You've got the framework to get started. Good luck. If you stick around, I'm going to go in a little more depth and maybe drop a hint or two that I've learned over the past 2+ decades. All right, you ready? Number 1, get your captain's license. Unless you plan on taking more than 6 passengers to fish or fish more than 100 miles offshore, then all you need to get started is your OUPV, or what is commonly referred to as your 6-pack license. This requires documenting that you have sufficient experience on the water, passing an exam, and completing some other basic steps such as taking a drug test, completing a first aid CPR course. Give yourself plenty of time between sending in the paperwork and running your first guided trip for pay. Remember, the Coast Guard is a federal bureaucracy. Things take time. Your lack of planning is not their concern. I learned this the hard way. The first time I renewed my license, and yes, you have to renew every 5 years, I cut it too close. My expiration date came and went, and I did not receive my renewed credentials, but I kept on fishing. Well, I got caught fishing, to be more exact, running commercial for hire fishing trips on an expired license. My license then got suspended for 90 days. 90 days missed income in the middle of the summer. An expensive lesson. For everything you need, visit the Coast Guard's Charter Boat Captain webpage. Links in my description down below. All right, number 2, obtain a guide's license. Rules differ from state to state, but if your state requires you to have one, you have to get it. Be prepared to show your U.S. Coast Guard license. It's been a requirement in every state I've ever got a guide's license in. In North Carolina, we have to renew our guide's license every year. Do it. It's part of the price of doing business. I learned this the hard way as well. I got popped about 15 years ago for fishing on an expired guide license when I was checked by the Marine Patrol. Fortunately, my captain's license wasn't suspended, but I was fined a couple $100. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do lessons. 3, obtain liability insurance. Once again, it is part of the price of doing business. Don't leave the dock without having you and your boat insured. There can be a lot of liability involved when you're a licensed captain, taking paying customers out on the water. Plus, your boat is now your biggest asset of your business. So lining up the proper insurance is a must. All it takes is one accident. For example, you run aground, you punch a hole through your hull, or you tear up your motor. Also, one of your passengers falls down and breaks an arm or a leg. If you're not insured, you'll not only be sued, you're going to be out of business. Done. There are a number of companies who offer insurance for guides, for charter boats. I use Boat US and I carry a million liability. I'm not endorsing one company over another, just making the point that it is one of the 3 things that you have to have and can cost you dearly if you try to get by without it. Now, number 4 is setting up the business entity. This is another part of the business that is full of paperwork. Setting up your entity doesn't necessarily need to be done right away, but you might as well get it done sooner rather than later. What a business entity means is how do you define or categorize your type of business? Are you a sole proprietor, a partnership, a limited liability corporation? There are others as well. Unless you've got experience starting businesses in the past, you will be well served to spend the money and talk to either an attorney or an accountant. My accountant was able to answer all my questions. Don't be cheap. You're going to need an accountant down the road when you go to file your taxes. I tried to save a few $100s my first few years in business by doing my taxes by myself. Never again. After the first year I used a tax professional, I learned I'd been leaving money on the table every year. There are a few ways to save money in this business, and I'll get to those in a few. But when it comes to your certifications or anything to do with paperwork, don't try to skimp. It'll catch up to your wallet sooner or later. Here is what you can do on your own. Set up a file system for expenses on your computer and keep all receipts, every one of them. Make categories for all your expenses and income. Your accountant will appreciate this at the end of the year and won't have to charge you for organizing your paperwork. At the end of each trip, I enter my income into a spreadsheet. At the end of each week, I total up all my expenses for that week. I get a good idea of what I earned for the week, but more importantly, I'm able to project my income for the next week and what I need to do to either save somewhere or if I can spend a little more. When I first started DOE Fishing Charters, I got a low interest loan from my father. He insisted on a business plan with projected income. It was one of the most important lessons I've ever received. I always tell myself, and anybody who will listen, that it is a business first. I think it's the best job in the world, but you are only a fisherman and not a guide if you go bankrupt and the bank takes your boat. All right, 5, gear for charter fishing. If you stuck with me this far, this is where it starts to get fun. At this point, I assume you have a boat, or you're in the process of getting one. Just know, there is no perfect boat. You may like to fish offshore, inshore, sight cast, wreck fish, fish on the flats. No one boat will be able to do it all. Figure out what you could be happy with and go shopping. Fortunately, gear is somewhere you can save a little money. If it's your first year in business, ask yourself, do you really have to have that new $5,000 trolling motor, or can it wait till next year? Do you need the new 350 on the back of your boat, or can you get by this year with the 250 that's already on there? Tackle. Remember this, it's really important to know when you go to outfit your boat with rods, reels, and tackle that it's not just for you anymore that you are buying. You have to buy one of everything for every potential client on your boat and yourself, and spares. So for example, if you plan on carrying up to 6, you need at least 7 outfits plus at least 2 extras on board. I don't care how expensive or cheap the tackle you plan on using. It all breaks. I'm serious. I've used $23 Shimano's or $200 Shimano's. If you're guiding, rods are going to break, reels are going to seize, or both are going to fall overboard, which is where I give you the tip. Find tackle that holds up but won't break your bank. You can outfish your business with mid-range tackle that will do the job and won't leave you cringing every time something breaks. Know you will either be replacing or rebuilding your gear constantly. I'm not promoting one brand of gear over the other, but I'm always looking for a gear that fits my price point. Check this out, I love steak, but I can get all my protein needs from chicken at a fraction of the cost. You know what I'm saying? Save your money on tackle, and maybe within a year or 2 you can buy that new trolling motor. And finally, 6, drumming up business. How do you get clients? Fortunately, it appears to be easier now than it was in the past when there were less guides. There are a number of companies online who book trips for guides for commission. Once again, I'm not endorsing one over the other, but for some guys I know locally, it has been very effective in getting a start in business. Now, you don't want to live off these services because the commissions can severely cut into your end of the year net. Ideally, you'd like to build your business through word-of-mouth referrals or through your own marketing. Tip: do not put money into print media. I repeat, no print media. It is a dying medium that is not worth your return on investment. 20 years ago or so, I would advertise in a free coupon magazine that was placed in racks outside of businesses throughout the county. At the time, it was over $2,000 for an ad in the summer. Horrible investment. For one, people that get your number out of coupon magazines are usually looking for a deal. And 2, these people were already here. To be really successful in this business, you want to book your clients before they leave for whatever destination they're going to. You want them in your book or calendar before they get here. If somebody tries to sell you ad space, remember, don't do it. You drum up business by marketing yourself online, or speaking at a seminar, or setting up a booth at a boat or tackle show. All of these ways allow you to target potential clients who have the same interest as you, in this case, fishing. It's no secret anymore. The ubiquitous nature of social media has changed the whole marketing paradigm. There are a number of platforms to choose from. You can focus on one or on them all, but the key is you have to work it, meaning you have to put pics up and post reports or other content. The money you save not investing in print is going to cost you in time to make your social presence work. While print marketing was passive, online marketing is active. Yes, it takes more time at the end of the day, but as I keep mentioning, the price is right, and it is a quick and effective way to interact with potential or existing clients. I'm going to put it bluntly. If you don't make use of these avenues to market yourself, you're not going to make it. People want to see what you've been catching and fish vicariously through your reports, picks, or bids. If you don't do it, rest assured your competition will. Now, how to keep and build customers? Word of mouth referral can be your best friend. Show people a good time, and they'll tell somebody, or a bunch of somebodies about you. The converse is equally as important though. If you don't give it your all to show them you are a professional, a bad review on Yelp or TripAdvisor could really hurt you in the pocket. Most days we can't control the fish. They have tails. They move. We zig, they zag. Whatever the reason, there will be days that you don't load the box or catch them every cast. Most clients can deal with this. It's part of the unspoken contract we enter into with them. What people paying money cannot and should not have to deal with is a guide or a captain who is rude, condescending, constantly on his phone dealing with tomorrow's trips instead of today's, or just a plain jackass. If you can't get along with people in confined spaces, then this job probably isn't for you. The chips are already stacked in your favor. People are paying you money, good money, to be with you. Catching is a bonus. Just by showing a level of competence and courtesy, you'll be successful, no doubt. All right, so let's review the framework again for starting a charter or guide business. Get the required Coast Guard license. Obtain a guide's license for the state if necessary. Obtain the appropriate insurance. Start your business entity. Buy the gear, the necessary gear for running, and drum up business. I hope this helped. If you're interested in starting this journey, check out this video right here. Hey, thanks y'all. I'm Donnie D, DOA Fishing Charters, Oregon Inlet, North Carolina. And this y'all, my brothers, the shit you gotta know.